Okay, good evening, everybody. Seems like everyone joined. Okay, since it is already time, okay, we will start today's class. Okay, yes. Okay, so I hope my screen is visible to everybody. Okay, so in yesterday's class we were discussing recursion. Okay, so we were discussing recursion, and at the end we were discussing a program in which we were to convert a decimal number to binary. Okay, so we were converting a decimal number to binary using recursion. Okay, so like there was not sufficient time, and some people had some doubt, so we will be discussing the same program again. Okay, so just before going that, okay, I will take one more example, okay, so that you will understand the conversion nicely. Okay, so yes, one second. Give me one second. So just like let us do one more recursion program, okay, just to understand something. Okay, so what I will do is I will define a function. Okay, how to define a function? Just write a keyword called definition. Okay, so there I will define a function called as recursion. Okay, so this is a definition which I have given. Okay, so but this function will receive a parameter. That's why I am giving a parameter called as x. Okay, so then I will write the code that if x is greater than 1, then only I want to call this again. Okay, so there is one more call made. Okay, so since there is one more call made, but while calling this, x is not passed, but instead x minus 1 is passed. Simple. Okay, so then after that, after all the call is made, what am I doing? I am printing x. Okay, so I am printing x. Then let me just call this. Okay, so outside this whole function, what am I doing is I'm calling using a number called 5. Okay, so uh, when I call this, okay, so like it will pass 5. Okay, so 5 is greater than 1, so what it will do, it will go, it will go and it will call with 4. Okay, and it will again call with 3 2 1. Okay, so what should be the output? Okay, one second. Okay, so like anyone can guess what will be the output in here. Okay, if you can guess output for this program, okay, so the other program is also clear. Okay, even though it's okay, so let us see what will be the output given. Okay, so normally the output should be starting with 5. Okay, so we should print 5, right? Like we are printing the value of x, right? So what are we passing first? For the first time we are passing 5, right? So we are passing 5 to this variable. Okay, so it should print 5 first. Okay, so then it should print 4 again because it is getting called again. Then it should print 3 again. Then it should print 2. Then it should print 1. And when it is 0, because 0 is not bigger than 1, so it will come out. Okay, so this so the output should be starting from 5 4 3 2 up to 1. Okay, this should be the output ideally. So but this will not be the output. The output will be starting from 1 to 5. Okay, so let us see what will be the output once. Okay, so just see, the output is 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so why is this happening? Okay, so just anyone who has doubt regarding recursion program yesterday, please follow here. Okay, so what is happening is in here. Okay, so when x is 5, right? So 5 is greater than 1, correct? So what it will do, it will go and it will again call for recursion of 4. Okay, so it will go and it will call for recursion of 4. So there is no printing happening here. Okay, so it is not printing 5. Okay, so then when it is calling 4, again 4 is also greater than 1. So it will go and it will again 4 minus 1 3. So it will go again and it will call for 3, because 4 minus 1 is 3. So again recursion of 3 is called. So again it will call recursion of 2. Okay, so again it will call when recursion of 1. Okay, so when it calls recursion of 1 is greater than 1. So this is not true. 1 is not greater than 1. So it will come back and it will, for the first time, what it will print, it will print 1. See, first it is printing 1. Okay, so once 1 is printed, recursion of 1, this function is over. Recursion of 1, the task for this function is over. So it will go to 2. Okay, so what is the value of x in recursion of 2? It is 2. So that's why it will print 2. So it will go on back from 1 to 2, it will go to 2, from 2 to it will go to 3, from 3 it will go to 4, and it will up to whatever the maximum value we are calling here, it will go to that number and it will print. Okay, so this is how it is happening in here. Okay, so I hope, is this clear? Okay, so then let us go to our yesterday's program. Okay, so let me just open yesterday's program. Yes. So this was the yesterday's program. Like everyone was having doubt in this yesterday's program. Okay. So we discussed yesterday, even though we have to discuss this today. Yes. Just give me 1 second. Like these people are, they don't want people to learn. Okay. Just give me 1 second, please. Okay. 1 second. Okay, so now let us continue. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so now let us continue. Okay, I have locked the meeting. Like some useless persons, like they don't have any work and just they are disturbing the class. Okay, so I hope we will be able to continue class right now. Okay, so just let us continue here. Okay, so like to explain this yesterday's program, so I have made in detail analysis in here. Okay, so what is happening in here, this program is used to convert a decimal number to binary. Okay, so what are we doing? Like we are just taking a decimal number, done, and we are storing that decimal number in A. Okay, so then we are calling that number with A. Okay, so now it is going like for our example, let us take the number as 9. Okay, so now we are passing the value of 9 to this function. Okay, so when this value is passed, okay, so now let us follow in here. Okay, so the same function we are doing. Okay, so what it will do, it will call convert to binary 9. Okay, so then if x is greater than 1, yeah, okay, 9 is greater than 1, yes. So what we will do, we will just divide 9 with 2. Okay, we will do floor division. Then what will be the value of y? The value of y will be 4, because when we divide 9 with 2, we will be normally getting 4.5, right? So but since there is floor division here, like you can see there are 2 division symbols. This means that there is floor division. Okay, so that's why, so we will be getting 4.5. Okay, so but this floor division will not take 4.5, it will just take 4. So now what it will do again, what are we doing? We are calling the same function. Okay, so when we are calling the same function, we are calling with the value as y. Okay, so now what it will do? So we will call convert to binary of 4. Okay, so that line next to this will not get executed. Okay, so this line is not getting executed, it is pending for now. Okay, so it will go and it will execute this convert to binary of 4. Okay, so like follow this arrow mark, it is going, and now we are again calling this function called as convert to binary of 4. Okay, so now when we are calling convert to binary of 4, again what we are checking, see, just please remember this line is still pending. Okay, so let me just give it some color that showing that it is pending. Okay, so this line is still pending. So again we are doing one more call. Okay, so now what it is happening, we are calling the convert to binary of 4. Again 4 is greater than 1, so we are calculating y, 4 floor divided by 2. So what is the answer? 4 divided by 2, we have answer as 2. So again we are calling convert to binary of 2. So what it will do, it will just keep this line pending. Okay, this line is still pending, nothing has, this line has not printed anything, that's why this line is still pending. So it will go and now it will execute convert to binary of 2. Okay, so it will go and it will just go inside. Okay, so now it will call the convert to binary of 2. Okay, so what is this now? Again, what is the value of x? The value of x is 2. 2 is greater than 1. So what it will do, again it will calculate the value of 1. So again we are calling convert to binary of 1. Now it will calculate convert to binary of 1. So when it is calculating convert to binary of 1, the value of x is 1. So 1 is greater than 1? No. So what happens? This condition becomes false. Okay, so when this condition becomes false, now it comes to this print statement. Okay, so now when it comes to print statement, what we are doing, we are modulo dividing 2 with 2. Okay, so when we modulo divide 2 with 2, we will get remainder as 1, right? So what it will print? It will print 1. Okay, so 1 is printed, right? So now once this is completed, this whole code is completed, right? So now it will go back. Okay, so once it will go back and this task for this calling is over, convert to binary of 1 is over, because it has done everything, it has printed everything. But now it must also execute this statement. Okay, this print statement. So that's why it will now what was the value of x here? The value of x was 2. Okay, so that's why now what it will do is it will modulo divide 2 with 2. Okay, so what will be the value? Okay, the value when we divide 2 with 2, we will get 0. Okay, that's why here what it will do, it will print, 1 second, it will print 0. Okay, because what it is printing, x modulo division by 2. What is the value of 2? 2 modulo division by 2 is 0. That's why it is printing 0. So once it has printed, this whole code is over. Again it will go back. Okay, so once it is going back, so here this was pending, right? So now it will execute this. Once it executes this, what was the value of 4? The value of x was 4. So it will divide 4 with 2. Since the remainder is 0, so it will print what it will print. Just let me write. It will print 0. Okay, so again this is also over. Convert to binary of 4 is also over because printing is over. So again it will go back. Now it has to again print this statement. Okay, what are we having in the value of x? In the value of x we are having 9. So when it divides 9 with 2, we will get remainder as 1. So that's why what it will do, it will just print 1, because when we divide 9 with 4, the remainder is 1, because 2 is not exactly divisible by 9. That's why we will get the remainder as 1. So what is the output we have? The output as 1 0 0 1. Okay, so this is the output. So it will be printing all these in that same line. That's why we will get the binary equivalent of decimal. Okay, so this is the whole crux of the program of recursion. Okay, and converting a decimal number into binary. Okay, I will give you this document. You can refer it and see it for yourself how this is happening. Okay, so if anyone has any doubt, please ask. Okay, so we can I can also allow you to unmute. Okay, you can unmute and ask, you can chat and ask, because this meeting is closed right now. Okay, so I hope everyone has understood this program. Still, does anyone has any doubt about recursion or program to convert decimal number to binary using recursion? Anyone?
No doubt, sir.
No doubt? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so now now let us go to our next concept. Okay, so now what we are having is this thing called as default parameter. Okay, what is default parameter? Like I said, what is parameter? Like whenever you call a function, you will pass some value. Okay, so that value is called as parameter. Okay, so yes, so now we also have a default parameter. Okay, so just let us go here and see. So what is default parameter? If we call a function without any parameter, then the default value of the parameter will be taken. Okay, so just let me demonstrate you this, what will happen. Okay, so just remove this thing. Okay. So let me define a function called as country name. Okay, just a function you can define. So what I will give is, I will give the name of the function as country name. Okay, so what it is taking a name of any country. Okay, so if I pass India as the country, so it will store that variable in S. Okay, so now what it will do is it will print. Okay, so what it will print, my country is comma S. Okay, so now it is printing the string. Okay, so it is well and good. So now if you want to call this okay, you have to just give the name of the function. Okay, then pass the parameter. I am passing a string. How to pass a string? Just mention the string. So what I will be passing, I will be passing the name India. So what is happening here? I am passing a parameter called India. Okay, so this is passed to the string called S. So what it will print? It will print my country is S. Okay, so just let us run this. Okay, so here what it is printing that my country is India. Simple, it is okay. So now let us see. Now I want you to tell what will happen if I don't pass any parameter. Okay, see here, I am not passing any parameter, but what is my what does the definition of my function has? The definition of my function has a parameter to receive. Okay, but while calling, I am not passing any parameter. Okay, so what will happen? I want anyone to tell you that whether it will pass or whether it will execute or whether we will get any error. Okay, can we call like this? Like can we call a function which has a parameter without passing a parameter? Can we call? Anyone?
Errors.
It will give error. Yes. Okay, so let us see whether it will give an error. Okay, just let us run. So see, you can see any error here. What it is saying, that country name is missing an argument called as S. Okay, it is saying that you are missing an argument. Okay, so now what I want is, sometimes I want a default value. Okay, sometimes you want a default value that whenever, even if you don't pass any argument, okay, so you want that default value to be saved. Okay, so let me give a default value. So when you are giving a default value, you have to just declare that default value in the definition of the function. Okay, so what I will do is I will write a default value as India. Okay, so now I have written default value. So let me pass this. Okay, so now when I have given default value, when there is no parameter passed, what the function will do, it will take the default value. Okay, so it will take the default value and it will work on the default value. But when I pass something else, like when I let us say I have passed Germany. Okay, so when I pass this something other string, what it will do is, because there is already an argument available, there is already a parameter available, so it will not take the default value. Okay, so it will take the parameter. The default value is overwritten by the parameter. And we will get the passed parameter. Like you can see, when I have run this program, first I am getting, at the first call, I am getting the text as my country is India, because there is no parameter I have passed. Because there is no parameter I have passed, it is taking the default parameter. Okay, so but when I passed my parameter, so what it is doing, it is replacing the default parameter with whatever the parameter we are passing. Okay, so this is how you have to use a default parameter in functions. Okay, so I hope this is clear to everybody. Okay, so let us copy this program. Okay, so then, okay, let me just remind you, like, what is default parameter? If we call a function without any parameter, then the default value of that parameter will be taken. Okay, so this is what we have about the default value. Okay, so then we have this new function called as lambda function. Okay, so in Python, this is explicit to Python. Okay, so there is no lambda function in C, C++, Java, or anywhere. So what is this lambda function? So let us follow here. In Python, an anonymous function, lambda function is also called as anonymous function, is a function. Okay, it is also a type of function that is defined without a name. Okay, first and foremost important point regarding lambda function is that it does not have any name. Okay, so next point is, while normal functions are defined using def keyword, like if you have any function, like you can see there is a def keyword, define keyword, but lambda functions do not have defined keyword. Okay, so in Python, anonymous functions are defined using lambda keyword. Okay, so there is a keyword called lambda. We use this keyword called lambda to define anonymous function. Okay, since they don't have name, that's why we call lambda functions as anonymous function. Okay, so just let me demonstrate this to you. Okay, so let us write a new program. Okay, what program I will write? Let us define a program as double. Okay, so what this program will do, it will take a number and it will double it. Okay, so just since it has to receive a number, I am keeping that variable as x. Okay, so then what it will do, it will return x into 2. Okay, so it will return x into 2. That means that it is multiplying the number with 2 and it is returning. Okay, so what I will do now, I will call this function called double and I will pass a number called 6. Okay, so but what this function will do, it will double 6. So what is the double of 6? The double of 6 is 12, right? So it will give me 12. Okay, so just let us call this and see whether it is happening or not. See, I have made a function called double. Okay, so what it is doing, it is taking any number, it will double that number and it will give you the output. Okay, so simple. This is okay. So but since this is one line function, there is no need of this much big definition for all this. Okay, so we can use lambda functions whenever the functions are of only one line, like for small functions which are of length of only one line. Okay, so how to define that lambda? What I will do is, okay, so let me just comment this. Okay, so now what I will do is, let us take a variable called as x. Okay, so x, this is a return value. So then you have to write the name of this function called as lambda. Okay, so what is this lambda? Lambda is receiving this number, right? So if you want to receive, you have to write that. Okay, let me receive that in a. Okay, so it is receiving that in a. Okay, then a column. Okay, so now what it shall return? It shall return a into 2, right? So you have to write a into 2. Okay, so what is this lambda doing? Just the whole statement, what I am doing is I am writing this. Okay, so and then it is returning this in x. Okay, so since there is no name for this function, we will giving the value as x. Okay, so this variable acts as name of the function. Okay, so just let us run this. So again, you are getting 12. Okay, so instead of writing that big code, you can write functions without any name. Okay, so when you write functions without any name, those functions are called as lambda functions. And how do you have to write lambda function? Just write a keyword called lambda. Okay, so then if you are having any parameters, write that parameter in here. And if you have to do any operations, like we used to write colon in here, write colon in here and do all the operations. Okay, do any operation you want to do, and like there is no return statement. That's why I have used this equal to, and I am storing the return statement in x. Okay, so now if you want to use this function, you can just call that using the variable x of 6. Okay, so what happens? 6 is passed, 6 is stored in a, 6 is multiplied with 2, and you will get 12. Okay, so this is called as lambda function. Okay, so where is this lambda function used? First and foremost, it is used when we use function of code whose length is only one line or 2 line at most. Okay, and sometimes where is this useful? Like you might be analyzing different Python programs of different applications. Okay, so they will be using this keyword lambda. So when you see keyword lambda, you will be like, you won't understand what is lambda. But when you learn about this lambda, you will understand that lambda is same to a function, but there is no name of that function. Simple. Okay, so that is what we have about lambda function. Okay, so anyone, any doubt regarding this lambda function? Okay, seems like I have no doubt. So then like we can proceed further, right? So this was the syntax, and let me also copy the code. Okay, so here let us write program to demonstrate default parameter. And what is this program? Program to demonstrate lambda function, right? So just let me copy this. Okay. So are you people understanding, or you are just quiet because you have any doubt?
Yes, sir, understanding.
It is understanding, yes. Yeah, you want to post without and with lambda? Okay, yeah, I will post. Thank you for reminding. Okay, so this is what we have about. Okay. So now, okay, yeah, thank you. Now let us go to the next topic we have on the hand. Yeah, so the lambda function is over, anonymous function is over. Okay, now we have global and local variables. Okay, so let us go understand what is global and local variable. Like, see, what is global variable? Like in Python, a variable declared outside of the function is called as global variable. Okay, so before reading, let us just demonstrate this so that you will understand. Okay, so let me define a variable called as a is equals to 10. Okay, so this is a definition. Okay, so then what we will do is we will define a function. Okay, so what is this function? Let me just give some name called as new. Okay, so new is, this is the name of this function. Okay, so now inside this function, what am I doing is I am printing the value of a. Okay, so now it is printable, and outside this function also what I am doing is I am printing the value of a. Okay, so so just let us say here I will say it is outside, right? So outside, let us write outside and print a. Okay, so now since it is printing inside, here we will write inside. Okay, inside. Just a comma. So but since you want to call this, let us just call this function, and there is this call is also made. So okay, so let us run this and see what will happen first. So like, see, the value of inside is 10 and value of a outside is also 10. So no problem. So why is it so? Because we have declared the value of a outside the function. It is not inside the function. So what does this mean? This is a global variable. Okay. So whenever you declare a value to a variable outside the function, this means that this variable is a global variable. Okay, so what is the property of this global variable? You can access or you can print that global variable inside a function. You can also print that global variable outside a function. Yes, so this is what we have to do, what we have about global variable. So now what I will do is I will remove this line. Okay, so I will remove the global variable. So now what I will do is I will print it inside. Okay, so now whenever I make this variable, whenever I define this variable inside a function, what it will become? It will become, okay, it will, okay, 1 second, let me copy this. So here it is a global. Okay, because copy. So this was a global variable. So now what am I doing is I am copying this and I am giving this value inside the function. So when I give this inside the function, it is not called as global variable, but it is called as local variable. Yes. Okay. Which one? Which you can have. Okay. So Abhijawan is asking how it is printing without parameters. Like, see, I am not passing any parameters, right? So you can have functions with parameters. You can also have functions without parameter. It is not compulsory for a function to have parameter always. Okay. So how was it printing? Okay. So like you can see earlier I have given the value of a and here. Okay. So when you give it outside, it is global. What does it mean global? Even inside the function or even outside the function, you can access that. Okay, so that is what we have. Okay, so but when I am giving this inside, okay, it is accessible only inside the function. That means that you can print this. Okay, so but it is not accessible outside. You cannot print the value of a outside the function. Okay, so just let us see and run and see. Okay, okay, seems like there is some error. Okay, see, so inside, like you can see the first line here, it is saying inside value is 10. Yes, inside value is 10. Okay, so then what it is saying, a is not defined. So when you are printing this outside, it is saying that a is not defined. Okay, so that means that how do you declare a local variable? Whenever you give a variable inside a function, that is called as local variable, and whenever you give a function outside of all the functions, then that is called as global variable. Clear? Local and global is clear. Still anyone has any doubt? Okay, seems it is clear. Okay, so now let us see, let us do one more thing. Okay, so since, let us go back. Okay, there is some problem. So this is not global, this is local, right? So let us like local. Okay. So there is no differentiation. You can just differentiate global and local just by seeing where that variable is. Like Ramesh is asking, how can we differentiate global and local? If it is outside all the functions, okay. If a variable is outside all the functions, then that is global. That means that any function can access that, can print that. Okay. So if it is inside any function, that is local to that function. Simply you have to identify that using that logic only, like where is that variable, depending upon where its location is, we will be understanding what it is, whether it is a global variable or whether it is a local variable, right? So now what I do is, like instead of printing a, I want to do some operation. Okay, so yes. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I want to multiply a with 2. Okay, so like we did, I will multiply a with 2. Okay, so now what am I doing? I have a global variable called a. Okay, so now what am I doing? I'm multiplying a with 2, and what will be 10 into 2? 20. So I can get the value of 10 as 20. Okay, so I want anyone to tell whether, since a is global variable, right? So we can do operations on global a, because it is, even it is inside or outside, you can do. Okay, so can we do operations on this a, or it is not possible? Okay, so anyone? Okay, leave it. Okay, so let us run this and see. Okay, we can. Yes, Sony is saying we can. So let us test it whether we can do it or not. See, it is saying some error. What it is saying? So it is saying that local variable a is referenced before assignment. It is giving some error. So what it is, what is the problem in here? What the problem in here is, we are assigning some value to this variable inside this, right? So what is happening? So this is the compiler is understanding that this is a local variable. Okay, so it is understanding a local variable, and it is saying that there is no value inside this a. Okay, even though we have given this variable, since we have new variable in here, it is understanding that this is a local variable. So we have to say that this is a global variable. Okay, so since if you have to remind this function that take this one global variable, don't create your own a. Okay, so don't create your own a and take this one. Okay, so then what we can do is, just we have to write global and a. Okay, yes, it is defined as global, but there is no explicit definition. Okay, so since there is no explicit definition, it is taking something else. Okay, so just please try to follow, you will understand as we go on. Okay, so what we are doing is, here again we are telling explicitly that a is global. Okay, so when we are telling explicitly that a is global, then let us see what will happen. See, now we can get inside is 20, outside is 20, right? So you have to tell this function. So earlier, when this function was not there, it is creating its own local variable called a. It is leaving this thing at the outside a, and it was creating its own local variable. Okay, so but when you use this global keyword, it was creating it was accessing the global a. Okay, So I hope it is clear. Okay, so just even if you don't understand, okay, so let me give you one more thing. Look, what I will do is here I will give a is equals to 5. Okay, so what, just please follow this one very quickly. So now we have two variables with the same name. Okay, so one is global, one is local. Yes, so when we print outside we will get a. Okay, so but when we print inside we will get, we will let us, instead of 5, let us write here 20. Okay, what is 20 times 2? 40. So we will get 40. Okay, so now you can have same variable. Okay, you can have same variable with the same name, but one is local and one is global. Okay, so see, inside, what do we have inside? A is equals to 20. That means that it is 40. And outside, what do we have? Outside, it is accessing the global variable. Yes. So then what was happening? But when we did not have global keyword, here what it was creating, it was working with local A variable. Okay. So since it was working with local variable, there was no local A variable. That's why when we run this, it was giving this error. Okay. So but when we gave this keyword called global A, so it was able to do operations. Okay, so yes, Sony is saying she has understood. Okay, so I will give you all the 3 programs. Okay, so just try to execute this. Okay, so what did we learn? We learned a global keyword. Okay, whenever you give a global keyword, what happens? It is explicitly given the name as global, and what is the thing? We can have a global and local variable with the same name. Okay, so this is what we have for today's class, and we are already out of time. Okay, so we will meet tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Yes. Have a nice day to you too, Pawan. Thank you.